I'm so excited to have you back on the podcast. You were one of my favorite interviews we've done so far. So, welcome back.
Excited to be back. Thanks for having me.
Of course, my pleasure. And last time we talked, it's you had really just been coming off The Bachelor. You were rebuilding your life. And I know The Bachelor is such a small part of your story and of your journey. But since it's on right now and we're nearing the end, I'm kind of curious about if you can like pull back the curtain a little bit of what life is like when you're going through that process.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's different for everyone. I mean, for my situation when I was going through, it's really it is quite the transition of being a fan that watches the show to then actually living it and then having to like rewatch it over. The anxiety that you feel every week because you film all day long and then they cut in those 5 days of filming into a 2-hour episode, right? So it's like you don't know what's going to be put out there and you don't know like things can be twisted too. And like sometimes how you felt about the situation is not how other people felt about the situation. And then you see their interviews and then also you see editing and then you see people's, viewers and how they take it. So it is a lot to digest. And I remember just being filled with anxiety every episode that I was on. And even today, like I watched an episode last night because I actually did a little podcast earlier today to like review it with with one of the Bachelor podcasts. And it's like anxiety for me to watch it, even though like it's not an episode that I'm in or like have been in for like years. But it's just this like, cause what they're kind of going through. Like, I don't know what the top 3 girls are going through because I wasn't in that situation, but like, I know like interviews and like how things can go and get twisted and producers. And so it's the reason why I don't watch the show anymore. Cause I can't watch it because I just know too much.
Yeah. And like you said, you were a fan prior because we followed each other on Instagram and we were friends long before you went on the show.
Huge fan. And like my whole family, we loved it. And like none of us watch it anymore. After my season, we just stopped. Like it kind of just like ruined it for me going on. And like maybe it would have been different if I had a good experience, But I know a lot of people don't watch the show anymore after they go on it because it's just like almost like trauma in a sense of being like, I can't do this.
So you get the call that you're on it. When you go in, you don't have a phone, right? So you're not talking to any of your friends and family. Do you have access? Are you watching TV? Like, what are you doing during the day?
You have no connection to the outside world while you're filming the show. Literally none. You get your phone taken away the moment you get to the hotel and you get your phone back to you the moment you get into that car on the way to the airport to go home. Like, I remember getting my phone and just being like so shaky and like getting all my texts. And like, I got so many texts being like, oh my God, because it like people found out I was on the show. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe you're on the show. Da, 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 da. And my parents are like, my mom's like, I think you're going to be it. And I'm like, I'm coming home, Mom. Like, I'm coming home.
I'm coming.
But I remember I was top 8 or something. And a couple weeks after that is when hometown starts. So when you make top 10, they start calling your family to just give them an idea of like, hey, like there's a possibility we could be coming because they also need to prep like stuff in your hometown for things to do and like get those booked and whatnot. And so my mom thinks I'm going to be like hometown and like everyone's like stressing out. They're like, oh God, what are we going to wear? Like, and then like 2 days after that call, I'm like, hey mom, I'm on my way home. And I'm like telling her, I'm like, we had no connection. It was horrible.
She's like, well, that's opposite of what I was prepared for.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you're in the house, are all the girls for the most part just like giddy in the beginning and everyone's getting along and everything's great? Or is it as like cliquey and villainesque as we see on TV?
I feel like the first 3-ish days, things are good. Things are great. And then like the dates start, like group dates start. And you kind of start to see people like interact with him or like with each other. And you can start to see who becomes close, who starts to talk. So it gets pretty cliquey pretty quick, I would say. Like people start to like figure out who they connect with in a sense of like, hey, like I kind of knew who I liked. Like I like not like I didn't like anyone, but I just knew who I got along well with, like pretty off, like right away off the bat. And who I felt like might take my, like, I kind of knew who didn't like me in a sense. Like I knew who didn't like my personality, like right away. So I kind of just, I tried my best to like not step on any toes, but
seems kind of impossible not to.
Yeah.
Especially because you're such a kind person and you're so easy to get along with, that it always amazes me that when you put anybody in those situations, like people are going to perceive you differently than who you truly are. Did you feel the need to like prove yourself or defend yourself when people were spreading things that were not true?
100%. And I actually was just talking about this, like kind of on the podcast I just did earlier about my age. Like I was the youngest, I was 22, and like looking back at it now being 26, I don't think I would have, that was the best idea to go on. Like we were saying how it should almost be like 25 and up in a sense. Like I feel like you kind of have a better understanding of what you want, who you are around that kind of mid-20 age. And I felt like I had to constantly defend myself. Like I'm the youngest, yes, but like, who knows if he's the right guy for me. Like that doesn't matter my age. Like it's not like we're getting married tomorrow, but like if we are compatible and we like each other and everything works well, like who's to say he's not going to pick me, you know? And I felt like I had to constantly defend that. And, you know, I'm very fun and bubbly. And like, I think people kind of take that as like, she's not serious or she's just playing around. And it's like, if you really know me, you know, that's just me all the time, 22 or not, like that's just me. And that just rubbed people the wrong way, which I get. And it's just, it's really hard in that situation because like, you don't know who to trust. And it's because you don't have your friends there. You can't call up your mom. You can't call up your best friend and be like, I went on this first date and it was amazing. Like, I really like him. I said this, because if you say too much to someone, they might take it the wrong way. Or, you know, this girl thinks it's all about her. And I kind of struggled with that because to me, I felt like I could kind of trust, like, but I couldn't because then they take it and they run with it. And yeah.
It's such a complex idea for a show, because if that were to be in like the day-to-day world, I don't know any woman that would go into dating somebody knowing that he's dating 30 other people.
Yeah, it is a really weird.
It's
a weird, like,
so
you're
entertaining,
like,
but it's so weird.
Like you're walking up to him and the girl's just wiping her lips, like, and he's got lipstick all over her and like all over him, and like it's a weird. You're like, okay, I'm next. Like it's so weird.
And it almost feels like you have to like one up each other, and that's even more uncomfortable, especially when that's not in your personality.
Yep.
And you have to put yourself out there on like such an extreme level that it's hard to like make that be genuine.
Yeah, I felt like I was like, you almost kind of like over exaggerate things like yourself, because you feel like you have to compete. Like it's either you have to like be different for him to notice you. Like that's what kind of goes through your mind. It's like, what can I do different that she didn't do that he's going to see? Or when like in reality, you just got to be yourself. But I think when you're in those situations, you're not thinking like some people are really good at just being themselves. Some people, you know, like me, like I was like, look at her, she's a lawyer, and like I'm this 22-year-old girl, like that's just trying to figure out my career right now, what I'm doing. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, how do I compete with that? And I really struggled with that. And I know many girls do too. Not just on The Bachelor, but in life too, right? So
yeah. And that's what I was going to ask next is like, how much of your experience on The Bachelor really translate into your everyday life now? Did you have to struggle with that feeling of competing with other women or judging yourself too heavily? Like, how did that translate when you got back to the real world?
Yeah, I feel like as hard as that part of my life was, I learned so much. And like, I look back at it, I do have some regrets, but I also like know that if I didn't do that, it's like I wouldn't be who I am today. I wouldn't be where I am today. Like I feel like I have a better understanding. Like, yeah, I was insecure there, and like that was totally fine. But I think I needed those like kind of lower moments to be like, you know, you are doing great. You are great as who you are, and you know, there's a little hiccups here and there, but it's part of your story. It's part of like the timeline in life, in your life. And yeah, like there was a lot of self-growth in that moment. And yeah, and then with like the pandemic and everything that happened literally right after my season I was on, um, it was just kind of like having time for myself to really just sit back and be like, okay, like this happened, but like we can grow from this. And I think that it was a hard thing, but it was also really great and great blessing from the experience.
And I feel like you grow so much in the first couple years of your 20s. I mean, I feel like your 20s are basically a trial run for the rest of your life.
Yes.
Everything major that really happens, transitional in your life, happens when you're in your 20s. And I feel like being on reality TV and having national attention highlights that much more. But now, as a 26-year-old woman, when you're looking back at just your younger 20s, what are some things that you wish you knew then that you now know?
I think I wish I just didn't hold on to things. Like I wish I didn't hold on to like, friendships that didn't work, relationships that didn't work, experiences that didn't work. And I think just, okay, they didn't work. Let's learn from it and let's move on. Like I just wish I just, moved on. Like I think I held on to so many like negative things and I allowed that to impact me instead of looking at like good things that happened, or just allowing myself to learn from those not amazing things that happened in my early 20s. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing I'd tell my younger self, my 21-year-old self, and just say like, don't hold on to anything that like doesn't serve you now,
Yeah.
just let go, grow, learn, move on.
Yep. I love that. And you talked even about like growing out of relationships when it comes to friendships too. And I feel like I'm just now getting to a place, I'm almost 30, and I'm just now getting to a place
You look
where I'm
amazing.
comfortable. Thank you. I'm getting to a point too that like when I'm ID'd at a restaurant, suddenly I'm flattered. I'm like, when did that switch happen?
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah.
But so much of my 20s, I really struggled with like almost cutting off relationships or doing like friendship breakups because you feel like you need to bring everybody with you.
Yeah.
And I'm learning that everybody is kind of meant for like a season or a reason. But when it comes to doing those difficult friend breakups, when there's not necessarily a reason, they're just not going in the same direction as you are. How do you handle that? Because I think everyone handles it differently.
It's hard. Sometimes I find like friend breakups are worse than actual relationship breakups. I've had, I can think of 3 at the top of my head that were really hard and really hurtful. And, it was sad to let go of those friendships because we'd been through so much, whether it was a couple of years or I've known them since I was, super young. But yeah, like they're in your life for a season or a reason, like whatever you want to say it. But, I think you can grieve those friendships and you can, wish you might have said something different, like did something different. But you also can be really grateful for what they gave to you in that part of your life, the good and the bad. And just know that, you have friends now that are still sticking around, that are still in your life. And, you can be grateful for that and think about that and spend your energy on that. And, just wish the friends that didn't stay in your life and continue to wish them the best. There's no reason to like hold on and like hate them or dislike them or like wish them that nothing good comes, like you could definitely wish them the best and, thank them for being there for anything that happened in your life while you guys were friends. But yeah, they're definitely hard. They're not easy. Especially if they were with you through some really, really hard or exciting times.
Yeah. And part of just like maturing and kind of becoming who you truly are meant to be is making a lot of those really difficult decisions about like who no longer serves me, what no longer serves me, what kind of habits are holding me back. And I think when you start getting into like your groove of being like, oh, I'm kind of liking the person that I'm becoming. And like, what is she doing every day? What are her habits looking like? And I think you've been so transparent about just being this like fun, bubbly, outgoing, amazing person. And you show up on social media as yourself. But I've also noticed a transition in you where you're showing the harder days and you're showing your battles with mental health. And I feel like that's a huge signal to me on growth and maturing and being more comfortable with yourself. Can you kind of walk me through what was going on that made you comfortable enough to be able to show that to hundreds of thousands of people?
I think a lot of it has to do with the show and even just my exit when I left. I think a lot of people made fun of it, but a lot of people like came and they showed a lot of love for it. Just saying that, you know, like saying the words, I'm powerful, I'm strong, like I'm going to get through this, I'm going to love myself. Like, I think the good response that I got from that was just like, you know, I just got to show up as myself on my social media, and people can love it, they can hate it, but I know that there are people that need to hear what I'm saying. They need to hear the positivity part. They also need to hear, like, you know, I struggle with anxiety. I do struggle with depression, and days are hard. And I'm not just going to come up on here and say, like, I'm doing amazing, because today I'm struggling. Today is a hard day for me to get out of bed. And because I know when I look at social media, like, I like those, I feel like I can relate more to those profiles that are just real. Like, I'm not always, you know, touring the world. I'm not always, you know, wearing these flashy, expensive clothes and going to fashion show. You know what I mean? Not everyone does that every day. Like, some people do have just a normal life that just go for walks down, you know, for a casual walk with their boyfriend, or struggle with depression, or, you know, or writing sticky notes on their mirror to get through the day, you know, like, and I just want to show up as me. I just want to, like, you know, be me. And if I can help one person get through their day with positivity or just realness, then that's, you know, that's what I'm going to do.
I love that. And you do that for so many. You mentioned that you do struggle with anxiety and depression. And I think that it's becoming so much more normalized with conversations like this, and people just talking about the fact that the people that you're looking up to on social media also struggle with it. Mm-hmm. But you've gone a step further and actually talked about being on medication and the things that you're doing mm-hmm. every day for your mental health. So I'd like for you to talk about why you're sharing that to begin with. Yeah. And also, like, is that comfortable for you, or are you doing it because you want to normalize it?
I think it has become more comfortable for me as I've been on medication. I'm actually getting off of it now, but I was on it for about a year, and I was a psychiatrist. I was told that I have general anxiety disorder and social anxiety, and, you know, seasonal depression. And it, like, when I found out about that, it was kind of like I could breathe again. I felt like what I was feeling was not just me. I'm being told that, you know, it's okay that I'm feeling this, and I can get, like, extra help for it, as well as, you know, doing therapy. And that's been amazing. And I just felt like coming on and being honest, I don't think there's anything to be ashamed about it. And I think when people think of, you know, mental health, mental illness, and antidepressants and all of that, there can be kind of shame almost. And it's nothing to have that shame feeling with, because there's nothing wrong with getting extra help. There's nothing wrong with making sure that you're okay and being healthy and being happy. And I think that's what I just wanted to, like, normalize. When it's funny because it should just be normal. It should be okay, because it is okay. You know, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to get that extra help. And, like, the response I've gotten from it is amazing. Like, you know, people will say, like, just seeing this has given me the courage to get that extra help, to go to therapy, to schedule appointments with my doctor, to talk about medication, talk about options. And, you know, that to me is huge. That to me, like, that means more than anything, that I can help someone, you know, feel better and get through their days. You know, not only helps me get through it, but also makes me feel pretty great to know that I'm helping others through that too.
Absolutely. I remember being in my earlier 20s and coming off of, like, the pageant world, mm-hmm. which kind of similar to reality TV in the sense of, like, you learn so much about yourself in such a compact period of time. And when you're dealing with any type of mental illness or mental health crisis, it's really difficult to take that first step. And mm-hmm. I struggled for years because I was too scared to get into therapy because I thought that meant something was wrong with me. I was way too scared to go to a doctor and say that I was struggling and to get on medication, because I viewed it like that meant that something was wrong. And the mm-hmm. second I got to get over that, I feel like this whole world opened back up to me because I no longer was holding myself back. When you have a chemical imbalance, you can't solve that on your own.
Yeah.
And I think being able to see that, especially on a highlight reel like social media, is something that a lot of people need to see because it is a scary first step, especially when you think that you're one of the only ones that are doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think for me, one thing that went through my head with therapy and medication was like, I can't fix myself. Then there is something wrong with me. Like, I need extra help, like something like, then that's not okay. Like, there's something like what, like, I can't fix myself. Like, that's not good. And it's like, don't look at it as that way, you know, like you are taking this step and that is huge and you should be very proud of yourself because it does take a lot of courage and there is nothing that like you don't need to put those thoughts to your head saying I can't fix myself. Like what you're doing is just it's so important for your health and for your happiness. And like I think once I got past that and you know just started therapy, started medication and saw like my change in my daily life and how I was able to get through like little activities that I couldn't do before, like getting out of bed to being one of them and having that little bit of energy. It made my relationships better. It made myself better, like everything that I was doing in life better. And so there's no need to feel down on yourself or talk down to yourself that what you're doing is wrong because it's not wrong.
Yep. And I love that you mentioned therapy because I think for myself, therapy was so life-changing. And I'm a very open book. I talk to people that I'm close to about pretty much everything that's going on. But going and talking to somebody that doesn't know me and being able to go through so many different seasons of life and have this brand new perspective and notice trends and different patterns of my life and become more self-aware through therapy, it was the most eye-opening, life-changing thing I've ever done. So I love that you're in therapy too.
Yeah,
I think it's becoming more accessible, more affordable, and more talked about. But there's still people get so freaked out about the idea of like going and trying to find a stranger to talk to about things.
It is one of the best things I ever did. I've been doing it for almost 2 years now with my like talking to my therapist once a month. I'm like, "What's up, girl? Like, we got a lot to unpack today. Let's chat.
Let's go."
And it is nice to you know you can have those friends in your life and family to talk to, but to talk to someone that like is like 100% not going to judge you is a really good feeling, and it makes you feel very safe. And yeah, like I'd recommend therapy to anyone. Like it has truly made my life better.
I'm right there with you. It's an absolute godsend. I feel like everybody can benefit from therapy.
Yeah.
My therapist used to say that a lot of the people that put themselves in therapy is to deal with the people that will never admit that they need therapy. And I'm like, that is the truth.
Yeah.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
So take me into some of the other daily things that you're doing to help you feel like the best version of yourself.
Well, now that we're getting into spring, I feel like getting outside is very, very important. Kind of setting boundaries with my phone is very important. Like having downtime, like being outside or just going to see friends and putting my phone down. Like just as much as I can limit social media, I find that I'm just a better person too, and just like happier because it's just like you're so glued to your phone. And so allowing myself to just put it down, enjoy those around me, enjoy the outdoors, go to like workout classes. I've been loving Pilates, like doing things for myself, like other health things I find is just super good and just helps me, you know, get through my days a little better. But yeah, like I'm so excited about the sun coming out soon and spring and summer and just being outside as much as possible. I find I'm very, very happy when I'm just outside.
And when you start looking at health from a holistic aspect and you're looking at your mental, emotional, physical, and you see that everything is so intertwined, it's pretty crazy once you start like putting effort and attention into all of those, how much better you feel overall.
Yeah. Like those little like self-care moments are just going for a walk, putting your phone down, having a bath, like going for a workout class. Like doing those little things for yourself are just, there's so many benefits around it. And even having a good meal, cooking a good meal is like just, yeah, self-care.
Does something for the soul.
Mm-hmm.
And the gut brain connection, especially I've noticed in my life, is such a huge thing. Whenever I'm really struggling with anxiety, the first thing that always is affected is my stomach. And I recently learned that you were part of the stomach issue girl gang that all of us seem to have. I'm so sorry. Welcome to the club.
It is not a club I would love to be a part of, but we are here.
Welcome. I'm one of the founding members.
Yes. Oh, stomach issues, the worst.
The absolute worst. And something I noticed that has like been life changing for me is doing one of those green powders in the morning to help with bloat.
Of those like the real deal? Because I feel like I see people doing that.
I've seen so many different types. I've tried 3 different types now. And the one that I've settled on, I'm using one from Arbonne right now.
Okay.
And I put that in water first thing in the morning. I have one of those little like frother things that like mixes it all up, and it tastes like matcha. So it's not bad. Okay. Chug that down, and it actually like seems to make a difference. That's the only one I've tried that I can actually notice anything.
Okay. All right.
But
I ordered these like de-bloat pills last night because I was like, I'm going to try these. I'm going to give them a go.
Which ones did you try?
They're called
the Array ones.
Array ones, yeah. I'm going to give it a go. We're going to see.
Digestive enzymes.
I've heard that. Everyone says that. So that's another one. I need to order myself some.
I swear by them.
ASAP.
They're everything. But I hold literally all of my anxiety in my stomach.
Well, that's what I was reading. Everyone was kind of saying it's like if you struggle with anxiety and depression, like it really does affect your stomach.
Big time.
And I'm like, the more I thought about it, I was like, shoot, okay. All right. I'm like, when am I the most bloated? Probably when I'm the most anxious. So.
Yep. Well, I have all the tools and tricks for you. Girl. I've been on this journey for far too long.
Please share because I need to.
Gladly will. So when it comes to your dating life, quick 180 turn here. After you were on something like The Bachelor and vying for one person's attention, I know that you really took a step back and was like, I'm not even attempting to try and find my person. I'm just going to go live my life. So walk me through kind of the things that you did to make sure that you were ready to be in a relationship when and if the time came.
Yeah. So after the Bachelor, it was 2020. What a great year. And I think I worked on myself. I spent a lot of time with just my friends and my family and just kind of made that the focus and just enjoyed every day without having this pressure of being like, I got to find someone, I got to fall in love, I got to do this and do that. I just focus on like the good moments, good energy. And around 2021 is kind of like summertime. It's kind of when I really did feel like, you know what, I'm ready to put myself out there. It's been about a year and a half of just focusing on me. And I think they always say like, you need to love yourself before you love someone. And I think that is true. I think maybe not 100. I mean, I find like with my partner now, like he has made me see different sides of myself too. And like, I feel like I love myself more even, but I really did have to put that work in to love myself as well. And, every day it is a journey. But yeah, I think just putting that self-work and putting that in and just allowing myself to get to know me too. Like, what are you looking for? But first, let's figure out you. Let's figure out like, what do you like to do first? What are your hobbies? What are your interests? Like, who do you want to be like remembered as once you like those little things. And I felt like I just focused on that. And a year and a half later, I felt like I was ready. And when I was ready, I met someone amazing. So I think just focus on you. Don't put that negative pressure on you saying, you need to find someone like right now. Just let things be, let life do its thing, and like enjoy your girl moments, enjoy your girl trips and all those fun things, right? Because like friendship is everything. So enjoy those little moments.
Yep, you're so right. And I think it's so easy for people to hear other women that are in serious relationships to be like, well, I discovered myself and I love myself and then I found my partner, where I think let's get into like the nitty gritty of like, what was it like truly going on that self-discovery? And when you say learning to love yourself, what did you do to get to that place? And how did you know that you were on the right track?
I felt like one thing, I think what I really needed to work on was just my confidence. Was something that I felt like I had great confidence. And then I kind of went through this chapter of just not feeling great in my skin, and like not just talking about like the outside, but just like I just felt like I wanted to, like, little things like bringing to the table. And since I wanted to know more hobbies, I wanted to do things, I wanted to explore new like avenues of things and just like learn more, if that makes sense, of just like, okay, like I like doing this, I like doing that, like it's hard to explain, but just like allowing myself to be me and learn like what is me, if that makes any sense. Like
being curious about yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's huge.
Yeah.
And even I felt like when I went on my whole like self-love journey in the very beginning, I realized that the majority of the time that I was getting ready or looking at myself in the mirror, I was critiquing whatever I saw. And the things that I was thinking about myself all throughout the day was me telling myself like things that I'm not. And once I became so aware of those patterns and realized what I was doing is when I got to take control of it a little bit more. And then slowly I realized that like, oh, when I'm getting ready, I can tell myself something kind and I can like the person that's staring back at me. Yeah. And once I got to that point, I was like, okay, this has to be what this journey of like self-love is. Because I think if you don't genuinely enjoy yourself and your own company, it's really difficult to put your best foot forward when you're trying to meet other people, whether that's friends, whether that's intimate partners. It's really difficult to do. And I think so many women are going through that journey of trying to find confidence, but they think that confidence will come when they look a certain way, or they date a certain person, or they're in a certain friend group. Can you relate to that in any way?
Oh, yeah. Look, like I think people forget that like happiness is now. Like it's not just like, it's not how you look, it's not who you date, it's not what you do for work or where you travel to. It's like, it's right in front of you. It's the little things, you know? 1 second. Sorry, I just think can you hear me good?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it just like switched to like AirPods that were like in the other room. So
you're like, no.
I'm like, no. Let me just, no. I'm like, we're not doing this again. I think we're okay.
I think so too.
I just want to, okay. I think we're good.
I think we're okay.
Okay. I'm like, I do not want to go through this again. I'm like, why do I have like, I think we're okay. I think we're okay.
I think so. Everything looks good on my end.
Okay. Okay, we're good. We're still working. I'm like, I don't want to do this again. I don't want to do this again.
But happiness is now.
Yeah, like
I love that.
Happiness is now. It's the little things. It's the little moments. It's not, it's not when you're 10 pounds lighter, or when you get more toned, or you travel to this place, or you get that job, or it's now. And when you're constantly waiting for those later moments, you're going to miss out what's happening right now. And that's what I started to realize is like, I was so caught up on, oh, I can't go do this because, I need to look better, or I can't go on that date because I don't feel I haven't done this thing. Like, and it's like, what you're doing right now is great. Like, oh, like, look, like what you're doing right now is great. Like everything that's happening right now, enjoy the now. Like, just enjoy the now, because you're going to look back when you get to that country that you wanted to travel to, or you get 10 pounds lighter, or whatever, like you're going to realize that like what you wanted so bad wasn't like what you had then was amazing. Like it was great then too. It's just like, it's not how you look that's going to bring you happiness, or what, like, who you date is going to bring you happiness. Like right now, like right now.
Yeah. I saw this quote forever ago on Instagram, and it's always stuck with me, that it was talking about how when you look back at a previous photo of yourself and you'll be like, oh my God, why did I hate myself then? Why was I picking myself apart? I was so beautiful. And it's like, because it was never about you. It's never about the way that you actually looked. It's about the way that you were thinking about yourself. That we're always
So true.
thinking that, like, if we lose weight or if we whatever, change whatever about our appearance, then suddenly we're going to have this confidence and feel great and all of our problems will be solved. And that could not be further from the truth.
No. Yeah. It's our minds just constantly playing little tricks. And it's just, once you kind of like, it's hard, it's better said than done. But like, once you kind of program your mind to like tell you that like you look good, like happiness is, and like, I saw this like poem one time that talked about like when we leave and we're not here anymore, like no one's going to talk about how your hair was so luscious and beautiful. And like you had a 6-pack and you went to this place and traveled and dated this guy. Like they're going to talk about like the person that you were, like what you brought to their life, the sunshine that you brought, the laughs, all those memories that you created. Like it has nothing to do with your appearance. It has to do with like the inside and who you are as a person. And like, I think that's what we need to focus on is like they always say, like the outside is like the least exciting part about you, like you, right? Like it's not like who you are and how you hold yourself and how you love others and like what you bring to this world. That's important. Like, you know, so
I couldn't agree more. I feel like I'm getting to a phase in life where I'm like, the external beauty is like the least interesting thing about any people that I love in my life.
Yeah.
It's having good conversation and it's how they make you feel and it's what you can learn from them and how they inspire you in so many ways. It's so beyond physical beauty. And I also think it's really cool when you can get to a phase in your life where you could admire somebody else's beauty and know that it doesn't take anything away from you.
Yeah.
That's a hard 100%. Place to get to. But when you get there, it's like, whew, my goodness, thank God.
Yeah.
And that's on growth.
Yeah. Growth, baby, self-growth.
That's on growth. So what's next for you? What are some big things that you are working towards while you're still enjoying the now? And take me through some little wins that you're currently experiencing and things that you're hoping to accomplish.
Yeah, I think I'm just really, one thing is just enjoying my family. I'm enjoying living with my boyfriend and like this exciting chapter that, you know, we're going through. It's been 1.5 years of dating and we're just loving life and love getting to know each other. And I love getting to know my friends more and my family more. And there are like, you know, some work things that I would like to do and accomplish. And I think it's not just like, I need to do this, but it's also kind of like being proud of myself for setting a goal and accomplishing it, because, you know, sometimes I have these like negative thoughts being like, I can't do it. And I hold myself back because I feel like, you know, I'm not ready yet. I'm not this. And I think there are some like business things that I would love to start accomplishing and just doing it this year. So stay tuned, because things are starting to happen, which makes me very happy. And I have a great friend, great assistant that's by my side through it. And she's been amazing. And yeah, I feel like one thing is just believing in myself has been a really big part of my self-growth, because I definitely hold myself back and thinking that I'm going to fail almost, you know? So this year has been a lot of just doing things that scare the heck out of myself and just, you know, proving to myself that I can do it, that I am capable. And yeah, so that's kind of what's next.
You build so much confidence and courage when you do things, even though you're afraid. I think it's one of the biggest things that you can do for yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's once you can prove to yourself, like, okay, yeah, I was terrified, but I accomplished it. And like, now I can do anything.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm still proving that to myself over and over and over again. And the lesson never sticks for some reason. And I'm like, if only I could remember this, that would be lovely.
You can do it. You can do it.
Just keep relearning the same lessons over and over.
Yeah.
So you mentioned living with your boyfriend.
Yes.
What was one of the most shocking things about living with a significant other?
It's just, I've never had a roommate and I never had a sister. So I grew up with only brothers. And so I got my own room. I got my own bath. Like there were like little things that I just never had to deal with, or sharing clothes, or not that we like sharing clothes, but like I have a lot of clothes. And so like, I'm actually the messy one in the relationship.
Isn't it humbling when you learn that about yourself? You're like, oh, I'm a sprawler.
Yeah.
I just leave things. Yeah.
Like, our guest room has also become my second closet and office, apparently.
Should.
And he's like, Mykenna, like, this is a guest bed. Like, what if someone slips over and you have all your shit on it? So I'm like, okay, let me move my clothes. But I think just like learning like whose like responsibilities are, in a sense. Like, I'm mostly here during the week because he works out of town. And so I keep the place clean and stuff. But when he's home, I'm like, you can clean that bathroom and you can clean that bathroom and take the garbage out.
Pull your weight here, buddy.
Yeah. But we have a really good balance, and I've really been enjoying like having a place that's ours, that we both can call home and host our friends and our family here. And it's been really nice. It's just, it's fun living with someone that you really love and care about. So
it's a cool transition.
Yeah.
Especially when you get to come home to living with your best friend.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just a cool thing. That's when you know you're with the right one.
Yeah. When he comes home every Friday night, I'm like, yes, give me a hug.
Oh, I love that. I love that for you.
Yeah.
Now, you are the queen of Team No Spill. And I saw you post something the other day that you are not drinking as much and that you are on your mocktail game. Talk to me about this.
I actually I was influenced by my really good friend. She did like 2 months, no alcohol. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm going to give that a go. And I did almost a month. And I really enjoyed it. I really saw a difference. Like, you know, I do love a good glass of wine. I do love a good glass of wine. And like, I'm not going to completely stop because I do like having it with dinner and with friends, but like, I don't need to have more than, I feel like I would have like a couple drinks. And then in the morning, I would just feel like crap and like feel bloated and just like ruin half my day. And when I didn't drink anything and just had my little version drinks or just had what, you know, I felt so much more energy in the morning. And, I almost like took as like, you know, alcohol, like you need to do it to have more fun with your friends, but everyone else is doing it. And you really don't you don't need to like prove yourself to anyone or yourself, or just like alcohol shouldn't make your relationships better, you know, like, I have great friends and like we can have no drinks and have the best night. So I think finding friends like that is huge. And I don't know. I feel I've been feeling a lot better just not having anything or just having one drink. Like there is just go have one drink, just enjoy. Like I do, like I said, I love a glass of wine. I love Team No Spill. There's no stopping, but I think just, I don't need to get drunk, you know, like I don't need to do that. And I think that is growth right there of, you know, I'm way past those times in my life. But yeah, just enjoying that.
I love it. I feel like after the pandemic, a lot of people are reassessing their relationship with alcohol.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are really researching some of like the negative side effects that come with having a handful of drinks every week. And I'm even exploring like the quote unquote damp lifestyle about what that looks like, about just not having a glass of wine every night to calm down or to make dinner. I love the routine of pouring a glass of wine and cooking. Yeah. It does it for me. And I'm like, and I can keep that.
Even me, like, I don't even, like, I'm not even a crazy drinker at all. But, like, you know, when I would go out with friends, like, I'd have to have, like, 3 drinks or 2 drinks. Or it's just, like, you know, you don't even have to drink. You don't have to have a drink at all, you know? Or, like, if I have friends over, like, I'll have a glass of wine. Like, I don't need to have, I don't know. I have seen benefits already just doing it for 1 month and just how great I felt. And I kind of just switching the whole thing up a little bit, you know?
Yep. There's no shame. I think when you reassess, like if you want it or if it's just habit, it's a good place to be. Yeah. Again, growth. There's just so many changes
Growth,
happening.
baby.
Growth, baby, grow. All right. So what is, let's say, a podcast, a book, a resource of something that you are utilizing that you think could resonate with some of our listeners?
Oh my gosh. Well, my therapist always tells me to listen to anything Brene Brown. She's amazing. Definitely give her a listen. I think she has books out. She's got TED Talks. She's got audio books, everything. So definitely listen to all of her stuff. Everything is amazing. And yeah, she has been pretty great with my my growth and my journey of just shame or emotions, whatever that is. She's pretty great.
Yeah, I love her. She has a Netflix special too.
Ooh,
she has a couple. You're gonna have to go.
Have
you ever heard of Mel Robbins?
Oh, that sounds really, really familiar.
She's your next one.
Okay.
I'll send you her podcast. She's phenomenal.
Amazing.
She's just like Brene Brown, but even more East Coast.
Okay. All right.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming back on the podcast. I appreciate you. I will put,
for having me.
Of course, it's always so much fun chatting with you.
It's a blast.
Always.